good morning, and welcome to day 16. We are over the hump and headed toward the final side of day 30. Welcome, Pepper. Good morning. Good morning. Um, and so, yeah, I'm just so thrilled to have been doing this so now for 16 days straight. And I will continue to do this even after the 30 days. Most likely it'll be Tuesday to Saturday, I'm thinking, as of right now. So we'll see. Because I do start back to start on a job in late October. So I'm trying to work it with the new schedule and so forth. But that's why I do this at 5 a.m. So that when I do go back to work, that I can still keep this particular, schedule of writing at 5 a.m. And that way I'm still getting my projects done while I'm still, being able to work. So yay. So you all set, Pepper, ready to go, ready to get started for our first 25-minute sprint? Okay, cool. Let's get going. I'm continuing with William Wood's testimony, who at first said he wasn't going to tell everything, and he's still not going to tell everything, but he has been dishing more tea than I think that he intended to. So, all right. are you doing? And I see someone else is here too. You can tap in the chat and let me know how you're doing. Um, what genre are you writing, or if you're writing, or if you're working on some other project, um, let me know. So what I'm doing, I'm still continuing my research on the Peter Crosby story for the Vicksburg Massacre. And I am still in the testimony of William Wood. And throughout his testimony, or actually at the very top of his testimony, he swore in his swearing in that he was not going to tell everything that happened. What he will tell, or has told, has all been truthful, but he's being very selective because he's been threatened about telling about the threats that he received and the things that he had witnessed. And so now I'm at the point where one of the congressmen have asked if they clear the room, will he testify in private? And so he agreed to, if they cleared the room. It's like I told you, Pepper, I believe that whoever threatened him, or the many people that may have threatened him, were right there in that courthouse. I've been feeling that from the top. So when the O'Brien, who was one of the congressmen, when he asked him, will you state that a portion of the truth which you want to tell here openly to the committee in the room, if the room is cleared? He says, I might. And then again, he asked, will you do it? And then Williams like, I told you that I would. And so O'Brien proposes that the room be cleared. The chairman clears the room. And now I'm about to read the statement that they took, I guess, based on what he said. I don't know how much if they get into detail. I hope they get into details of that. I would love to know, or where they will place it, because what I was just reading at the top of this, it was acknowledging that they would make it public, right, Pepper? Yeah, we believe it too. In the statement that I'm reading right now, and just again for whoever else is here, I'm going over the congressional hearing, the testimonies from the congressional hearing from the massacre that happened, and this is all part of the for overall for the 3-book series that I'm going to write based on Peter Crosby's life and the events led up to the Vicksburg Massacre and the actual massacre. Exactly, right? Pepper, the plot thickens. So I'm just so grateful to be able to have access to the actual testimonies and to hear the voices or read the voices of the people that were there and that were attacked during this time. Some people that testified so far, they've lost their husbands. Their husbands were killed during this time. And then the gentleman that is testifying right now, William Wood, he's testifying about what he saw, but up to a certain point. But he did see a lot. He saw, quite a few dead bodies. He was shot at himself. And so, yeah, a lot. And normally I would do, I have been doing a 10-minute break, but if there's not any questions or anything or any other comments, I've just been keeping it to 5 minutes. Hi, Vicksburg Massacre. What year was that? It was in 1874. December. Actually, it began on December 7th of 1874. And it started because Peter Crosby, who was elected sheriff, he was formerly enslaved. And he was elected sheriff in 1873. And the Taxpayers League did not want him to be sheriff. Part of the job of being a sheriff during that time was collecting the taxes. And so they questioned his bond. He had to have a surety bond. And they kept saying it was inaccurate, but it was completely accurate. And a 600 mob came to his office and forced him to resign. And so when they forced him to resign, Peter went to the governor, Governor Ames, to say what happened. And then Governor Ames said, hey, go back there. You rightfully were elected. Get people together to help you get back into your office. And the black people, marched to, peacefully to get him back in. But the white folks were like, no, mm-mm. And because many were, of course, white supremacists, and it killed many people during this time. So that's to catch you up with the story. You have any more questions before we begin? Get back into it. And thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Give another minute or so as to see if any other questions. Okay. All right. Well, all right. Well, let's get back to it. And if you do have any questions, is it Tracy? Tracy Track? Um, just drop it in the chat, and I look at it when after we do this next 25 minutes sprint. Okay. Okay. How are you guys doing? Pause on that. How's everyone doing? Good, I hope. Um, Pepper. Yes, going back to Williams Wood's testimony. So the secret session revealed that there was a person, the person that had put a gun to his head was in that room. He still didn't name the name. Um, and when they explained more to him that anything that he says in the secret session would be eventually publicized, he declined to talk any further. But he did let them know that he, the person that put a gun to his head and threatened him, was in that room when he was doing the testimony. So they ended his, and now I'm in the section in the testimony of Charles H. Smith. Um, he's a Black man that was a former deputy under the last sheriff before Peter Crosby was elected. The sheriff was Charles Furlong, and Charles Smith was his deputy. On the day of the 7th of December, he was put under arrest for no reason. What they had been doing was just arresting or killing Black men. And so if they didn't arrest you, they killed you, basically. And so he mentions the people that arrested him, which were Dr. Hunt, which I talked about before briefly. I still need to go through his testimony completely. Let's see that highlight things. Okay, Dr. Shannon, Forrest Miller, and Dr. Hunt. They came to him. They drew their pistols in his face. They threatened to kill him dead if they did not, if he did not turn around and go back. Um, but so then they arrested him and locked him up with other people there. So Pepper and I had been, who's listed here as Josette. That's her real name, but I know her as Pepper. But anyway, um, I had skipped over. I had been reading through and going through all of the white testimonies, but I knew the summary. I had read the summary of what had happened, and it was just nothing but lies. And at first, I was amused, and then I became annoyed. And Pepper, while I was doing this research, I was trying to, oh, do I want to continue going down, reading through what all the white people had said? But then we discussed. She's like, no, get to the black people because you're going to get the truth. And it has been completely revealing. Many of the testimonies from the widows to people like William Wood, and now into Charles's Smith's testimony, and then I would go back over the white testimonies because I had already saw some things about Dr. Hunt, and everything seemed like it was all up and up. He didn't mention anything about threatening people's lives and putting guns in people's faces or anything like that. So this is all very interesting. And those who just jumped on, because I see someone else just came on. This is Right With Me. We do 2 25-minute sprints. Do 5 to 10 minute break, depending on people having questions, any writing questions too. I forgot to ask Tracy if we had any questions on writing or anything. And so, hey, Shanae. Wow, these are great updates. I'm late, but I'm gonna get underway. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I'm gonna end up maybe not this week, but next week, writing things more out on Substack about what I've been finding. Let's see, you're on Central Time, so getting ready for work now. Interested in the story though. Remind me so much of Colfax, though it might have some of the same players. I was in Vicksburg a few weeks ago. Yes, Colfax definitely has some of the players. There's a Colfax massacre. I will actually, I can show my little graphic here too. I've stopped this timer because we're about to get off anyway. So yeah, my family's from Mississippi. I'm from Chicago. So I don't know where you are in the Midwest there. But yes, here is just some, I don't know if you can see that pretty well or not, of the massacres that happened in the 1800s and early 1900s. I'm blanking on the name of the author. She wrote a couple of books regarding the Colfax massacre. In her book, and I look it up, it was much more, it was good. It was so much more, I feel like on the surface of what was happening. For me, I plan on getting more gritty and getting into the detail and really doing this over a 3-book arc series. So, but I'm so happy that you're here. Incredible. You're in Mobile, actually. Okay, Mobile, Alabama. I've never been to Alabama. Actually, I still haven't even been to Mississippi, I still have some family that's down there. But my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my mom, all from the South, from rural Mississippi, and which kind of inspired me to start in Mississippi for the Black congressmen. There's so many Black congressmen that were elected and elected officials. And I've been really wanting to tell these stories. And I was raised in the house with my great-grandparents who were born in the late 1800s. And so I always feel like these type of things what's actually inspired me to really tell these stories, dig deep and find out what happened. So again, thank you all for being here. Be back here tomorrow. Today was day 16. Tomorrow's day 17. And we're getting it in. We're getting it done. I'm so proud of all of us for showing up and doing the work. All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone.